Hello, my name's Emmy Ember, I'm 24 and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I design clothing for women who are free-spirited and want eco-friendly fashion that is one of a kind. I grew up on a fiber farm where the women in my family taught me how to sew, knit, and felt. When I was 18, I suddenly felt compelled to make my own clothes. My great-uncle in South Africa was a couturier, and when he passed, I felt like his creative spirit was passed along to me. My grandmother bought me a serger for my high school graduation, and ever since then I've been hooked. I learned that making my own patterns really allowed me to express my personal sense of style. When I was in college, I lived right around the corner from a fabric store, and I'd be there all the time buying clothes to make a new party dress for the weekend. Soon I was making collections and hosting my own fashion shows. My first fashion show was called Hot Carnival and had a dark circus theme. It was hosted in a warehouse and we had several bands play and over 300 attendees. It was such a good time. For my spring 2013 collection, I was inspired by family lineage and creating inheritable garments. My collection was called Inheritance and explored giving clothing a double meaning. I organized video shoots in New Mexico and Boston to create a promo video for my fashion show. My fashion show debuted at a local art gallery in July. Also in 2013, I met my fiancé, Justin. Justin is an antique dealer and we began to work together. We would travel around and I would help him sell his antiques, and we'd also sell my handmade clothing in his booth at markets and shows. In 2014, we opened our shop, Vivant Vintage. This is where I sell my line. I find all of my materials when we're out buying vintage clothes. I use vintage tablecloths that I repurpose, and scarves. This is my favorite type of scarf. It's a traditional Russian Polish scarf called a babushka. I also recycle vintage napkins and make them into what I call spirit animal sweatshirts. And voila, that's my line. I buy all the women's clothing for the store. I find that selecting the vintage really helps me refine my taste. I get to see so many clothes, good and bad. I really get to see which styles and materials stand the test of time. I really love the fashion of the 70s, like funky prints, loud colors, paisleys, fringe, all about that. We also sell our vintage and antiques at open-air markets and festivals. The biggest one of the year is Brimfield Antique Show. It happens 3 times during the summer. There we set up as the Traveling Spectacular, and I also sell my handmade line to other vendors, bloggers, fashionistas, and I've even sold to Anthropology. Antiquing really inspires my design aesthetic. I love Victorian Valentines. This is my collection so far. I also love skulls. This guy's a turtle. I also have a little goat. Goats are definitely my spirit animal. And of course, I love everything fur and taxidermy. I'm very inspired by organic things in the natural world. Welcome to my studio. This is where I do all of my work. It's right behind our shop. And as you can see, I have quite a scarf hoarding problem. Also tablecloths, anything crochet or lace, big problem. I love working with vintage textiles because not only does it decrease my brand's environmental footprint, but it also ensures that every piece is one of a kind. To me, clothing is an expression of the inner self, and it speaks volumes about who you are. Although I make several of the same design, no two look alike because of the diversity in the material. I need Project Runway to help me reach my goals because right now what I need is exposure. I've already beta tested my product and I've had an overwhelmingly good response. Right now what I need is to work my 9-to-5 job less and have more time to sew. I'm worried that if I don't make this leap this year, that I'll get stuck working my 9-to-5 job, which I like, but I could get comfortable and stay in it for way too long. And I want to be a designer and I want to share my vision with the world. I have a very particular aesthetic and I can't wait to show you guys what I have.